Emerson's phrase, self-reliance, is one of the most misunderstood concepts going. It has been used to justify a kind of egoism that knows no bounds, and that's clearly not what Emerson meant. When he wrote the essay, he was taking forward a concept that developed within Unitarianism, a tradition that he came out of, although disagreed with in certain ways. And the Unitarian concept was what they called self-culture. And it was developed in response to an idea that human beings were born depraved. Unitarians were very strongly against this notion that human beings came into the world with a kind of natural evil within them. They were much more believing that human beings came into this world and then what you needed to do was to grow and to develop. And they very much liked the imagery from farming, basically, from culture. This was not culture as we might think of it with a capital C, but this was culture that meant cultivation. And so you should look at the self as if this was, a wonderful ground to be, kept fertile, to be carefully tended, to watch the crops that you were growing and to be very wise about how you cultivated that self. Emerson took it from there, seeing some of the limitations in the culture and thinking that it could go a little farther than that. And so when he was using the word reliance, he also wanted to make certain that people were thinking about a kind of strength that would take them beyond a conformity to societal convention. One of the things that concerned him a great deal was the way in which people seemed so readily able to fall into a complicity that they might not even realize they were falling into, that they were going along with things that perhaps they didn't even know that they had chosen to go along with. And he wanted to keep the mind so active that you would always be brought up short, always questioning, why am I doing this? What leads me to this thought? Did I get there through my own hard work of thinking, or did I get there because that's a rut of thought? When he introduced the word reliance also, he thought about it not as a kind of reliance upon this ego or this self-proclaimed, it's me and that's all. He thought about it very much on a reliance on this universal being, this universal spirit, not so much a god or anything that would be understood as a deity, but as this creative principle that connected all of existence. And so the relation of this reliance was really to be able to tap into a larger creative power that was, much more important than any small self or any small personality. Emerson was opposed to what he called a cult of personality. So when Emerson was talking about self-reliance, he was talking about that continual questioning that we all need to engage in, so that we are never taking anything for granted, that we're always keeping our minds active, understanding where our ideas come from, and respecting the sources, but also questioning them, and then looking into that larger interconnected place that all creativity upsurges from, so that we can understand that it's not some property that we hold on to, and I use the word property purposefully. It's not something that we own. It's not something that we have a kind of special interest in. We are much, I want to say, larger than that. We are connected to this much larger creative force, and when we are connected, that's when the true self-reliance can happen.